morning, everyone. It is Saturday night. Yes, that's me. Unfortunately, now have decided I'm Valentine's Day tomorrow, so I'm going to commit to being in the moment, I guess, living in the moment then. So I wanted to do this. It takes me an hour to put these videos out. It is the 13th of February 2021, and I'm having a look at the major indices, global indices. I'm starting off with the NASDAQ, and I've changed my layouts. Really want to see, I do this for myself, so I changed the layout because if I look at it from multiple angles, there are times when it disturbs, it disrupts any, if there are any preconceived ideas my brain has formed, it'll disrupt that. And so it's nice, like a Rubik's Cube, look at it from different angles, and then usually I get a sense, and sometimes I look at it one way and then I start to see things differently. So it helps to disrupt any kind of, just any bad ideas that I might get. So looking at this here, really the benefit of this particular layout is that it makes it abundantly clear what the flow of price is doing. So just disregarding the immediate shape and kind of pattern of price action, the candlesticks or the OHLC bars, it does give me a sense of the flow of price. So looking here, for example, the weekly at the bottom, the flow of the NASDAQ at the moment is just principally looking nice and bullish, starting to head up towards the top of this little channel over here, but also looking nice and bullish, heading up towards 14,000. Same thing here on the daily, also finishing nice and bullish and finishing up at, again, at all-time highs on the Friday, so fantastic. And so for now, obviously, corrections can happen. You can get a daily correction, a couple of down days before it recovers. For the most part, there appear to be no signs of real weakness in the markets. Let's just go ahead and just kind of, for example, bring up the MACD. So just having a look at here, it's flat. So there's really no signs of any kind of exhaustion that's showing up at this point in time on the daily. And so I'm just going to just leave that as is, continues to look bullish. Certainly it makes a lot of sense that it's going to attempt to continue up to connect with 14,000 this week, and therefore could offer some potential buy opportunities for intraday traders. But again, I still stand by, again, I know, and I think anybody with a brain knows that at some point we're going to have a larger correction. I think the problem is you don't want to really live in fear of it happening all the time. It can't be kind of the sky is falling. So really the idea is just to make sure that we remain cognizant of the fact that markets at some point will have that correction, and otherwise to trade what the charts are telling us. And right now, the charts are signaling this kind of bullishness, and in every other respect they seem pretty high. So we've got a break above these previous highs. That is a really nice potential level of support at 31,150. Price is bullish here on the Dow as well. So again, I'll just bring that in, reduce price. I'll just leave it up for now. Here's where you start to see a bit of a bearish divergence on the MACD on the daily, and you can see that this isn't obviously as bullish as the NASDAQ, but the NASDAQ looking nice and good. The Dow showing potential for a bit of exhaustion there. The S&P, all right, here as well, just bringing that in. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just quickly insert the indicator I want isn't there. Give me 1 second. I have to say I do love this platform. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I will mark this and just go in and place this in just to see, just to mark that level there and to see how price is reacting to it. So it's flat, not an issue. So no real signs of real bearish divergence happening there on the S&P either, and price action continuing to flow higher. So closing of the average of price, or the average closing price, is continuing to flow higher. That price action on the weekly looks bullish, and therefore for now the markets are more bullish than bearish. NASDAQ, we've had a look at already. Let's have a look at the Russell 2000, which I always think is a very much underrated index, and I want to give Nick McDonald full credit for that. This is really one that he brought, I think, to most people's attention, and this is looking pretty cool. I love the fact there's a nice little bullish candle set up there. So there is actually a potential swing set up here for end of day traders. I might have a look at that myself. Stop loss below the low of that, and looking for a break above the high or Friday's candle. Alternatively, using that as an entry point for intraday opportunities to trade on the 15 minutes or 5 minutes or 30 minutes to the upside. Yes, I notice here that it is towards the top of the channel. Okay, so it is not entirely outside of the possibility. Again, of course, there might be a couple of down days this week, so it's up towards the top. And in fact, we could finish a little bit lower towards Friday. It could be the case. In principle, the market is still a bull market. The question is, when are we going to have these daily corrections versus weekly corrections, and just being prepared for those. Okay, so yeah, that could happen this week. But again, the markets are not showing any overt signs of weakness. That doesn't mean that by Friday, the signs of weakness haven't come in and the market has started to head lower. It just means that at this point in time, the markets are not hinting at any of that. Then moving away from the US, heading east towards the UK. This is the FTSE having broken through recent levels of resistance. Now attempt to get back over that 6.5 line. So that 6.5 is a very significant level historically. I'd like to see it get back over that. It is within the moving averages. It is potentially finding support at previous levels of resistance. And so it's not completely outside the realm of possibility that price here is going to continue to trend high. I'd like to see it sort of just break above that 6.570. I do want to see it break above the high of that, but then it is in many ways almost free to just continue a little bit higher. So the possibility is there. Then moving over to the DAX. DAX price action looking nice and bullish here. We have had a previous high, a little bit of that's almost certainly some divergence there, bearish divergence. And again, that weekly not looking, I mean, it's not as bullish as the US, but it just seems to be dragged a little bit higher if it is a question of a rising tide lifting all boats. Look at the French CAC. So this one, very strong, nice little bullish buy bar there, but also strong, clear resistance there at 5722. Overall, that weekly looking nice and bullish. So it's got to just get past these levels, a bit of resistance that you can see here. This is, if I just bring on my levels, you can see that we're sort of above the worst of it, but there are still some levels around about where I am. So I still think it's free of that, and therefore there should be the possibility for it to climb higher. Again, not too much holding it back at this point. Then look at Euro stocks. That weekly looks really good. So really nice bullish reaction. Price pulls back, bullish reaction. Price action here looking very nice and bullish. So sometimes looking at traditional OHLC bars versus candlesticks just to, again, disrupt any particular reading of price action, but that looks more bullish than bearish. Yes, there's a potential level of resistance here, but overall that looks pretty good. And the flow is certainly pushing up towards the upside. So to break above these old highs, I like the look of that. So I think a break above, breakthrough past Friday's high does then give it freedom to continue higher. Then even here, look at the neck high just trending in a lovely fashion on the daily, back into the moving averages, can head up towards 30,000, and that weekly looking really nice and bullish. So certainly 30,000 almost within reach. Might as well just go on and push up and connect with that, and we'll see how that goes. There's not much in terms of scheduled economic calendar news this week. There's nothing that I could see that would create an alarm. There's no real unexpected news at this point in time. The unexpected news, genuinely speaking, would be that Trump is found guilty. And this is happening right now. So actually, as I'm recording these videos, in fact, I'm going to do this while I'm looking. I'm going to look on the phone and just see if they've already done the vote, if he's been acquitted or not. The expectation is that he will be acquitted, that there's no way he was going to be. Let's just have a look. No, there's no news on this at this point. Okay, but the expectation is he will be acquitted. In fact, I think it would be a surprise if he was in fact found guilty. So we'll have to see how that goes to the markets, because the expectation is that the GOP will just simply not condemn his behavior. Okay, so let's move on. Let's finish off with the Australian ASIC. So here you can see price action largely drifting sideways, dropped down a little bit, and then broke higher, which was really just a case of the weekly consolidation, and then that bullish candle that we broke above. We didn't really follow much on from that. 7,000 also very close here, but clearly this being a strong level of historical resistance in this area around price action here. So I think it's going to struggle a little bit with that, but also at the same time back into producing perhaps a nice bullish candle within the next 24-48 hours, and then breaking above that throughout the rest of the week, again giving it that room to climb. So should there be a situation here where the market really decides that actually this week, because it had a really bullish week last week, and this week it's going to have a deeper correction, if that is going to be the case, then what I'm going to be looking for on these will really be a break below these previous levels of resistance, which obviously don't provide much support. I'll be looking at round numbers, and in that case I'll be probably looking at the 4 hours, because surely within the first 1 or 2 days of the week it should be trending higher. If it's not trending higher, then likely to get that correction, and so I'll be monitoring those for sudden or sharp drops to the downside. And that's it really for me. So as I said, the markets are looking currently at this point not too much in the way of stopping them. And not to say we can't have a correction at some point in the week, but they certainly appear keen to push a lot higher. So there we go. Have a great Valentine's Day tomorrow, and have a great week.